The countdown to the playoffs is officially in store, and the Phillies are in a great spot. As the magic number continues to inch towards zero, we have some conversations to have about this Phillies team. Let's talk about who is going to make the final roster spots on this Phillies roster, who are the guys that have earned their opportunities throughout the season, and everything else that does need to pertain to this playoff outlook. But before we dive fully into it, do want to remind you guys one more time to continue subscribing to the channel. Right now, just 16% of you guys tuning in have subscribed thus far. We want to get this number over 1,000 and keep the Phillies Digest family growing. So let's get it there before we get to some playoff baseball and want as many people as possible a part of it. So make sure to smash that button and supporting. All right, Luke, how hyped are you that this Phillies team is rolling? They look
I'm
good.
ready. I'm ready to go. I'm tired of regular season baseball. I hate it. I'm over it. That's a lie. I don't hate it. I watch way too much baseball. But see, I'm like the type of person, and this is kind of very off track, but I am very much the type of person that if the Phillies are off, like I'll sit there on a Thursday night and watch like a Detroit Tigers game on like a Thursday. I'm just kind of a psycho about baseball. But very excited. I just want them to clinch this division. I don't want these games to matter anymore. I want as many hangover lineups as possible. Just get into the playoffs, get the East, get the 1 seed, and get the heck out of the regular season. But yeah, they're going to have some decisions to make. They're currently in a spot where they're in very good shape. They have a lot of options for the bench. Which is something they haven't had the last few years. It's been a pretty thin bench, but there's been a lot of guys that have really stepped up. To start it off, Weston Wilson, a guy who really doesn't hit right-handed pitching great, but just freaking mashes lefties. I believe he has an 1,100 OPS this year against lefties. Just been an awesome platoon guy that's really earned a spot out there.
Yeah.
Left field, if you need him to play the infield, he can. And I think that's something that's sort of helped Weston Wilson is that he can kind of play a lot of positions. And if it's a left-handed batter, he mashes them. So that's really been a big name. But unfortunately, I think that's going to be the name who's kind of on the fence.
Wow.
Austin Hayes seems like he will be ready for the playoffs. He's obviously dealing with a very weird injury right now, something that you can't really get a timetable for because it's a kidney infection.
Yeah.
It's not like a pulled hamstring where you can kind of base it off of previous injuries for people. It's an injury you don't really see in baseball. It's more of a like. It's one of those ones you just have to hope that he has his word when he's ready. And he said it was a pretty nasty month for him. A lot of pain, but he said he feels great. He said he's just about back to normal. They said that today before the game. They said he was running at high intensity. He will meet the team Thursday in New York, I believe. So I would assume that would probably be a demotion for Weston Wilson, unless it's Kody Clemens, who is another guy that has earned it. They're really in a tough spot as I just keep naming these names.
Cal Stevenson, another one.
Yeah, Cal Stevenson. Listen, I don't think Cal will make it. I honestly think, and now that you said that, I think Cal will probably be the guy that will go down once Hayes comes back. But they just have a lot of options, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
If I had to predict what it would be right now, as far as the bench, obviously you have to have multiple catchers. So your number one bench spot will be Garrett Stubbs. After that, Edmundo Sosa. He just returned today. He's fully back to normal, fully healthy. So right now you have Stubbs, Sosa. They usually run with about a 4 to 5 bench. So it'll be Stubbs, Sosa, Marsh / Rojas. That'll be one of the bench guys, sort of thing. And then you kind of get to the decision. Will it be Austin Hayes? Will it be Kody Clemens? Will it be Weston Wilson? It seems like if Hayes is healthy, he's going to be on the roster. So that kind of leaves it up to Weston Wilson. And as far as the Wilson Clemens thing, I think they've both earned it.
Yeah.
I think it'll really come down to matchups. If you go up against a team in the NLDS that is very left-handed heavy, I think it'll probably be a Weston Wilson. But it's really going to depend just really the other team. If they have a lot of lefties, it'll probably be Wilson. And if they have a lot of righties, it would most likely be Clemens.
Yeah, the hard part about this is I think each of these names we bring up has done everything possible. They've
Yeah.
done exactly what you could have asked them. Even the guys like Buddy Kennedy, who obviously is not
Yeah.
in like the running for this, a guy a little couple
Buddy
notches down
Kennedy.
on the pecking order. Best baseball player to ever come out of Millville, New Jersey, man. Like the dude rakes, the
Fact.
dude rocked.
Fact.
So I love that his moment's up there. I guess to directly just throw it in this question that I do think it comes down to Weston Wilson, Cal Stevenson, and Kody Clemens. If you were to rank those guys, I'm curious your order. To give you mine here, I personally have it pretty clearly. Weston Wilson 1, Kody Clemens 2, and then Cal Stevenson 3. Would you agree with that list, or would you shake that up a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the only reason for Weston is because I think he just brings you more power than Kody. I think he's more of a power threat, and I think it's nice to have a right-handed bat off the bench that can hit for power. But at the same time, Kody Clemens would easily be your best left-handed bat off of the bench. If you went into the postseason with Clemens off, Wilson on, and Brandon Marsh was in the starting lineup, and you needed a lefty off the bench to hit, it would be Garrett Stubbs. So not ideal. So if you're really thinking about if they want another left-handed bat off the bench, I mean the answer is obviously Clemens. But it really once again just matters on the opposing team's matchups. If and the one interesting thing about these rosters in the playoffs is that once you're on, you're on. Right. So there's no roster moves mid-series like there can be now. If you need an extra bat, you can call a guy up from AAA. That can't happen. So once your roster is set it's set. So if it was up to me, I would probably lean Wilson. But it just sucks because everything that Clemens has done has earned him a spot on this bench. He's been awesome for this team. He's hitting over 300 in the 8th inning or later this year. He's been one of the most clutch bats later in games this season. It feels like he's always getting the big hit late in games. So this is a very good problem to have. But it's once again just going to all rely on the matchups.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I like about each of these guys is they're just ball players. Like, they just find a way to get it done.
Yeah.
This is like, you ask them to do anything, and they're going to kind of find a way or make their impact felt, even if the opportunity isn't clearly there. But I ultimately, pretty good problems to have that I think this is a far more competitive search than if you look around the rest of the MLB for some of the positional squeezes that are coming down at this point. As far as these standings as a whole, that the magic number now sits at 1. Me and Luke recording this Tuesday night. To clinch the NL East, that number is 4, and to clinch a first-round bye, that number is 7. So everything trending in the right direction for this Phillies team. Before we sign off here, Luke, any thoughts on kind of the playoff matchup? Who you're, I guess, hoping to avoid, would like to play, anything like that right now?
So I'll tell you straight up, and I've said this multiple times, I'm petrified of seeing the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. And that seems like that'll probably potentially be the matchup if the Phillies get the 1 seed. They would probably face off against the winner of the 4-5, which would, at this rate, I believe, be the Padres and the Diamondbacks. Granted, San Diego could easily win that series. I think San Diego is a good team. I think they're a bit overrated this year, but I still think they're a good team. I'm sort of hoping Arizona gets in and they just kind of run out of gas because I really don't want to go back to Chase Field. That field just scares the living daylight out of me now. And I mean, I am very open to admitting it. I'm petrified of playing that team again.
No jumping in the swimming pool?
Yeah, jumping in the swimming pool. just bad vibes around that team. I don't think the Phillies match up well against them, while I think they do match up really nice against the Padres. And luckily for the Phillies, I've already said this. I think their best matchup, and Listen, I'm not begging to play this team because they're the second best team in the National League behind the Phillies. Their best matchup is the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like, I just think they stack up really good against that team. Granted, when the Phillies played their second 3-game series against the Dodgers, they didn't have Mookie Betts. So definitely a bit of a game changer not in the lineup. But even a team that has Mookie, Freddie, and Shohei, I just think the Dodgers are a great matchup for them. The Dodgers can't pitch. They lost Tyler Glass now for the year. They have one starter, I believe, that's thrown over 100 innings this year that's still healthy. Their bullpen's not fantastic. I just something about seeing the Dodgers in the NLCS, I would have a lot of confidence in that series. I just think the bats are well. I think the Dodgers just don't perform in the playoffs. And I get it. It's a new team, obviously now with Shohei Ohtani, but I just really like that matchup. I think the Phillies match up well against the Brewers. I think if the Phillies saw the Mets in the playoffs, I think they'd blow the doors off of them.
Yeah.
The Braves seem like they're going to miss the playoffs now.
Imploding,
So
man.
peace. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, a team I don't want to play is just the Diamondbacks. If you can find a way to avoid them, please do it.
Yeah, I think I'm on the same page as you as far as the Diamondbacks conversation. You will not hear me begging to sign up to face Shohei Ohtani. You can't quite get me on that one, Luke. Although,
And that's the thing. I'm not begging to play the Dodgers. I just think they're the better matchup.
yeah,
I'd rather see the Dodgers in the NLCS than the Diamondbacks. And that might sound crazy to people,
I would agree with
but
that.
I just I can't explain it. The second the Phillies play the Diamondbacks, my confidence just goes down. And it's not that they're a better team. We are a way better team than the Diamondbacks this year. There's just something to it. I think it's similar to how the Braves feel about us in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah.
I think the Braves last year, these last 2 years, were a better baseball team than the Phillies, and they come into the bank and they just get rocked.
Yeah.
I think we go to Chase Field. I think we just get rocked. So if I need to avoid a team, it's the Diamondbacks. And if we get to the NLCS, I can't believe I'm saying this, I want the Dodgers.
Wow. All right. Well, we want to hear
You
from
got to
you.
beat the best to be the best. That's the
true.
thing.
That's true. Can't dodge no punches. You got to face things head on. So we'll see how the cards fall and what the path is for this Phillies team. But let's hear from you guys in the comments. Who would your desired matchup for this Phillies team be in the first round of playoffs, and who is it that should be clinching on to that last roster spot that we broke down here? And once again, do want to make sure you guys are smashed that subscribe button. Just 16% of you guys viewing these videos have subscribed thus far. Let's get that number up. Let's get over 1,000 subscribers before the playoffs begin and get this Phillies Digest family as big as possible. So appreciate each and every one of you tuning in this video here, and talk to you next time right here on Phillies Digest. Peace.